What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope you're doing well. So today we are just discussing the SummerSlam card, going to a SummerSlam preview. I mentioned I am heading down to New Jersey for about a week or so, so I will not have a show tomorrow, Friday, Monday, and most likely Tuesday the 5th as well. So I want to talk about SummerSlam today and do the preview today. So, let's start with the World Heavyweight Championship match: Gunther versus CM Punk. On the database I'm using, these first like 5 or 6 matches are all night one, and the other 6 are night 2. I don't know if this is finalized or not, and that I don't want to give away anything. I don't want to tease anything. I don't even want to know myself, to be honest. I like being surprised just from the graphic shows up on the screen, or the video package shows up on the screen, or just the dudes or ladies music hits, and then oh, it's this match. So I'm just gonna roll with it. So first we're gonna cover Gunther versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think CM Punk is winning this match. I think it's time. After the booking to put the world title back on Gunther. The Raw after Backlash. Taking off Jey Uso was kind of silly. It was kind of poor, and then also the Goldberg thing sucked. I mean, his first world title reign, most of it, to me, really wasn't great. He just wrestled the same guys over and over again. Gunther is one of the best talents that they have. CM Punk, I think it's time for him to be world champion. I've never been a fan of him. So obviously, in the past, I've said a bunch of stuff about him, but he seems to have matured a lot. His this run to me has been my personal favorite of his. It's been great. I think CM Punk will be the world heavyweight champion. From what I've heard, this is going to be a main event night 1. Part of me thinks maybe that means something special is going to happen. Could there be a Seth Rollins cash in? I don't think so. I do think he's hurt. That would be a crazy work if he really wasn't hurt. Especially you got Paul Heyman saying like, "Oh yeah, he's going to be out for a long time. He has until next June to cash in. We don't need to rush things. That's why he's not even been on television since he got hurt at main event. I mean, he called an audible on the fly to have LA Knight win. So I don't think that's happening. I don't think his knee is okay. Will it take 9 months? I don't know about that, but I can see him being back closer to 6 months. But I don't think he is cashing in. However, keep in mind, I might repeat this a lot throughout this show. Keep this in mind throughout the show. This is the first ever 2-night SummerSlam. So they're going to want to make this epic. It is at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. First ever 2-night SummerSlam. They're going to want this to be, as big as possible. They're going to want to be basically WrestleMania. So it would make sense that you do something crazy. Gunther and Punk put on a banger match, just crazy spot for crazy spot, and then Seth Rollins comes out and cashes in. It would make sense, but I do believe he is legitimately injured, so I don't think it's going to happen, but I would not rule it out. That could, of course, set up Seth Rollins and CM Punk. We can really kind of close that chapter finally. Because like Punk's been feuding with him since he came back to wrestling, and that was almost 2 years ago. Came back to WWE almost 2 years ago. So if he catches in maybe a Clash in Paris, that could be a banger to be the main event of that show, maybe. But I think CM Punk wins that match and he becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion. The WWE Women's Championship is Tiffany Stratton against Jade Cargill. I don't know what to think about this match. I like the both of them. They're pretty much polar opposites to me. Tiffany Stratton is outstanding in the ring. Both of them have pretty much everything to be a top tier superstar in the women's division, but one thing. Tiffany Stratton's got it all. She's got it all. She's got the look. She's got a good entrance. She's charismatic. She's excellent in the ring. Great athlete. But mother of God, she's bad with the microphone. Jade Cargill's pretty much the opposite. She's got the look. Absolutely has the look. She's got the aura. She's got a great theme. And she's got a great entrance. She's very good with the mic in her hand, but is really wonky in the ring. So her in-ring ability is still kind of developing, as is Tiffany Stratton's mic work. So I think Jade Cargill wins this match. I really do. I think it's what they're building. I don't think they would have had her win the Queen of the Ring if that wasn't the case. I mean, you look at who they had her beat. A returning Asuka. Some of the other women that had her beat. I don't even think they would have done that if they were going to put the title on her. Because my thing is of like, the only thing is like what you do with Tiffany. If Jade were to lose, or you could have her. I don't know how close Bianca Belair is to being cleared. Maybe you put her into storyline with that. Maybe you finish up at any loose ends with Naomi. Maybe you give them a rubber match. Maybe Clash in Paris, something like that. I'll see more on Naomi very soon because she's on this card as well. Um, if Tiffany loses, I don't know where you would go with her. Again, that's something to figure out. The WWE, they book their stuff up to a year in advance, so I'm sure they already have future plans for her, obviously. But I still know what they would be. Like, who would she feud with? I mean, what was her most recent feud before? She had the what seemed like a 3 year, just way too long Nia Jax feud. And 3 years is obviously exaggerating, but obviously she did the thing with Trish at Evolution, which is like, where would you go with her from there? But I think Jade wins this match. That's what they're building towards. Little nervous because I'm not sure if Jade Cargill is ready to be the women's champion, be the WWE Women's Champion. I like Jade a lot, and I'm rooting for her. I think at some point she absolutely will be ready to be a WWE Women's Champion. I'm not sure if that's right now. She just doesn't have the in-ring chops right now to me. She's still very raw in the ring. She needs to wrestle a little more, I think. But hope I'm wrong, and I do think Jade wins this match. Then you have Randy Orton and Jelly Roll against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. So I know Drew's stuck in another country. There's some visa issues going on with that. That is supposed to be resolved by SummerSlam. Praying it is. This is so stupid. Look, Jelly Roll's a fine singer. I have songs of his on my playlist, but and like he had he at SummerSlam last year he opened up and sang one of his songs, and it was a great performance. The choke from Austin Theory, that was a funny moment. Why he's in a match is pathetic. Look, kudos to him for actually taking this seriously. He's been training for a while in the performance center. He's been working with Jacob Fatu and some others. He looks actually very good. He has lost a lot of weight. He's got himself in ring shape. He's showing up every week on this build. He cut a pretty good promo on Logan Paul. He hit a move on him, a pretty complicated move to hit for an amateur. He usually that move looks way cooler when somebody else does it, but it's all right. Randy and Jelly Roll are going to win this match. They're not going to have Jelly Roll be in the match and not have him win the match. Doesn't make any sense. It's so stupid. Pathetic booking. But Randy and Jelly Roll are definitely going to go over and win this match. But don't really care about that one. Women's tag titles. We got the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. They were defending against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. This is another one where it's not really clear who's going to win because I don't think Liv Morgan is going to return. And the return, she's not. I don't see it. They said probably 6 months. I heard maybe 4 or 6 months. 6 months would put her on track for. I think the Royal Rumble makes a lot of sense because that would put her on track for December. I think the only major event you have in December is Saturday Night's Main Event. That's going to be in Boston. That's going to be John Cena's last match. To me, if you have Liv return, I wonder if they think maybe that will take away from John's last match. I mean, his last match really shouldn't be on Saturday Night's Main Event, to be honest. It really is a shame because those have been really bad so far overall. They're just not. It's not a big enough event for a guy like Cena. And again, do you have Liv return of something it's probably the weakest legit PLE out there? I mean, there's a reason they do them like 4 or 5 times a year to this last year or two. So I don't know. You should probably just have her come back in the end of January, maybe early February, whenever the Royal Rumble is this year, and win the Royal Rumble. That would be great. But so I would think the earliest, if she can someone get to that 4 month, would probably be October. So I forget exactly what event is happening in October. And then we have the Clash in Paris in September. I'm pretty sure there is one. It might be another overseas show in October. Does that mean maybe you have her come back for Survivor Series? Maybe you have them do something major there, whether it's the women's war games match or something else. Uh, but to me, I think she's gonna come back, as a babyface, and she's gonna feud with Roxanne Perez, being like, "Oh, you took my championship, you took my best friend Raquel, you took my man Dominic Mysterio. Now I'm gonna make you pay," kind of thing. And whether that match culminates at the Royal Rumble, at the Elimination Chamber, at Survivor Series, something else, I don't know. Which is why I would think Raquel and Roxanne are gonna retain, but. Then what I do with Bliss and Charlotte, which I happen to be enjoying. It's like you would take the titles off of them. So I could see Liv showing up, which is the thing, to maybe help Roxanne and Raquel, or actually not. I was talking about maybe to cost them. It's like she would cost them. That being said, I really don't think she's showing up. I don't see her showing up to at least maybe Survivor Series if we're lucky. If it truly is a 6 month coverage, I do think it is. We're looking close to the Royal Rumble, if anything. But I'm going to say Bliss and Charlotte Flair win the women's tag titles. I'm enjoying their run so far. Charlotte, I get it. She's just, everyone's tired of her, but just having her in this feud, with not feud with Alexa Bliss, but having her work with Alexa Bliss, someone she hasn't worked with a whole lot throughout her career, putting them in a tag team, and overall it's gotten some traction. Fans are actually cheering for Charlotte Flair over so much. That hasn't happened in forever. And I think you should capitalize and put the tag titles on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. There's really no women's tag division. Triple H has completely botched the women's tag division. And so at least this can kind of get maybe help reboot that tag division, because outside of Raquel and Roxanne or Judgment Day, it's Bliss and Charlotte, and how many other teams really are there? So Bliss and Charlotte Flair, I think win the women's tag titles. They have a tag match: Roman Reigns and Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. So obviously, you had that segment at the end of Raw where Bronson takes out Roman and Jey, of course, with help from Braun Breaker. This one's tough because I also, this is another one that could kind of go either way. Roman just came back, obviously. So I mean, Roman's nothing left to prove. He just came back. I mean, this is eventually, I think, gonna culminate in a few of Seth Rollins. Obviously, we don't know when. I think in the perfect world, he would have feuded with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam and had a match with him at SummerSlam. Obviously, Rollins gets hurt, so that can't be the case. I would think, you had to change course. And so, yeah, it depends who you're going to have win that match. I think you would have Seth Rollins win that match, which in that case, I would think, all right, maybe you have Roman and Jey go over in this match. But it depends. If Rollins is going to be back to when is he going to be back? If it's true going to be 9 months, then if he's not going to be back till if you're lucky at the Elimination Chamber, then maybe that's further down the line. Maybe that's a WrestleMania thing. But if he's going to be back a little bit sooner, what about the Royal Rumble? What about Survivor Series? Again, who knows? Maybe he cashes on CM Punk and wins the World Heavyweight Championship on Saturday. I don't know. So this is one of those matches. It really depends on what they want to do with the story. Obviously, as fans, we can try and guess, but it's very difficult to try and figure that out. So, but I must say, Braun and Bronson Reed win. I know a lot of times whoever goes over on the Raw or SmackDown right before the PLE doesn't end up winning. Not always the case, but a lot of times that is the case. But I'm gonna say Braun and Bronson Reed win this match, but that should be a very good match. Sami Zayn against Karrion Kross. I'm pretty positive Sami Zayn's winning. I'm a little nervous because I love Karrion Kross. I'm one of those people who've been saying that he deserves a push. A lot of people don't really like him. He's kind of, some people are fans of him, some people aren't. I happen to I know a lot of people aren't a fan of his in-ring work. I actually think it's pretty solid. It's not the best in the company by any means, but there are way worse in-ring guys out there. Jey Uso will be world heavyweight champion, for crying out loud. I know his contract is coming up very, very shortly. I'm a little worried that it hasn't been finalized yet. On top of, I could see why he would want to leave WWE. I'm worried that they told him, we're not going to renew your deal. Remember, he doesn't want to renew it, and maybe this is like his send-off match. I hope it's not the case, but either way, Sami Zayn probably should win the match. I really think there's something brewing between Cross and Seth Rollins. I'm not sure if I've said this on this show before, but I've said it to my friends off camera. If you notice, in all those backstage segments, I know Karrion Cross, the whole thing was like, oh, he's like a car salesman who sells heel turns. Everyone he's encounters turned heel. The New Day, who else? Shinsuke Nakamura, Drew McIntyre. If you notice, he does his hair the same way as everybody that he works with. Like when he worked with different thing with AJ Styles, he had his hair down like Styles. When he worked with McIntyre, he did the same thing. With Sami Zayn, he hasn't had that. Sami Zayn, I know Zayn's had the man bun at times throughout his career, but Zayn lately he's been kind of wearing it down. He's got longer hair. Karrion Cross had his hair in I guess a ponytail, whatever you want to call that hairstyle, which is the same as Seth Rollins. And remember, Seth Rollins mentioned him a couple of weeks ago. It was right before Savage's main event. Kind of like, Braun Breaker not to worry about him. So I think I've been thinking this for a while, honestly for a few months in my head. When Rollins mentioned him on television, now I was like, oh, the wheels are turning. Now Rollins is hurt, obviously, so that kind of throws a wrench into things. So I really hope this isn't that for Craw. I really hope they do renew his contract because he deserves a legit shot. But I think Sami Zayn wins this match. Sami Zayn won the first match, which I thought was a solid match. He won their first match. I think it was on Night of Champions. Obviously, they had a match on Raw. The Cross one, he used the steel pipe. And now I think Zayn's going to win. I think. I guess I would love Karrion Cross one. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe that leads to a Sami Zayn heel turn. It would make a lot of sense. But I'm gonna say Sami Zayn wins this match. I just don't. If they really want to push Karrion Cross, I also probably should have him win, but I'm not sure that they want him to do that. I wish I was wrong, but I would probably like to see Karrion Cross win this match, but I think it's going to be Sami Zayn. All right, so this is what supposedly is the Sunday group now. Again, I don't know if the order of these is finalized on this CBS Sports document that I'm using. The WWE Tag Team Championship is going to be defended in a 6-team TLC match. The Wyatt Six, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy will defend against DIY, the Street Profits, Fraxium, Motor Machine Guns, and Andrade and Ray Fenix. I think the Wyatt Six retain. I'm really excited for this. This should be an absolutely outstanding match. Remember the triple threat, a TLC match, the SmackDown after WrestleMania between Profit, DIY, Motor Machine Guns was absolutely incredible. I expect something like that again. This should be a freaking outstanding match. A lot of great athletes in this match. Pretty much like the worst athlete in this match is probably Angelo Dawkins. For his size, that guy can move. I'm not even a fan of him. I think the White Six, you got to do something with them. Triple H to me has fumbled them a bit. Having Cross's faction kind of like go over on them and you kind of killed the momentum of Uncle Howdy, and he got hurt. He took the whole faction off to me, which didn't make any sense. They finally come back. And I think you need to do something with them. I think they should extend the run as the tag team champions. The Profits, they've been tag champs multiple times. They just dropped it. DIY was tag champs not that long ago, as was Morrison Machine Guns. Fraxium has barely been on the main roster, though they are incredibly talented. Andrade and Ray Fenix have been a team for a month. Again, I think they're great together. Both really talented in-ring performers. I hope they're on television more going forward. But again, they've been a legit team for a month. So I think the Wyatt Six should retain in this match, but that should be an outstanding match. Dominic Mysterio defends his Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles. This has been a very enjoyable build. A lot of funny memes have come from this, from AJ Styles. As for who's going to win, this is interesting. So if you asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said absolutely AJ Styles is going to become Intercontinental Champion. The last few weeks, Dom has been getting some really good crowd reactions, and this story has really taken off. So, obviously, this match was supposed to happen on Night of Champions. Dom got hurt. I believe it was a legit injury, but they played it off as like it was kind of in kayfabe. And then I think he was cleared shortly after Night of Champions. They in kayfabe said he was still hurt out, so that was part of the whole storyline. He kept like, oh, look, I got a piece of paper. I'm not cleared. And AJ Styles kept stalking him for dressed up as a ref or a doctor or something. And I feel like this story has really taken off. And if the creative team is smart, which a lot of times they aren't, but if they have their head screwed on straight, I mean, they're like, there's something here. One, I'm not sure if this feud has to end at SummerSlam necessarily. I think you can run this match back where it's at Clash at Paris or Survivor Series or something else. Uh so I think Dom Mysterio retains. 3 weeks ago, I said definitely dropping it to AJ. First of all, they've completely ruined this guy's reign, not having him wrestle enough. Really is a shame. That was such a great moment at WrestleMania for Dom, winning his first singles title. I think Dominic retains. I think Dominic retains. U.S. Championship, Souls of Cola against Jacob Fatu in a steel cage match. I think Fatu's winning it back. I think that's the whole point. Solo doesn't have a sideplex yet. People have been putting it out. Thought, oh, well, there's no point to put him on. He's going to further change him again in 3.5 weeks. So I think Fatu will win. I'm sure the MFTs will be. I mean, it's a steel cage match. How much can they really get involved? But I'm sure the MFTs will be involved. I think Jimmy Uso will be involved. Could Zillion Fatu debut? That's interesting. Don't think he will. If so, that probably sets up Survivor Series. Probably Solo but Zillion helps. But this should be a great match. I think Fatu wins it back. I think it's what they've been building towards this whole time. Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch against Lyra Valkyria. I think Lyra wins back the title. To me, if Lyra wins back the title with Becky, it doesn't matter what you do with Becky. Becky Lynch is one of the greatest of all time. You can do whatever you want with her. Okay, she has nothing left to prove. She's one of the 4 faces of the women's Mount Rushmore. You cannot have her not on it. With Lyra, if she doesn't win this back, I don't know what you do with her. Okay, Lyra, they need to drop a rocket on her, to be honest, because she is incredible. I've said before to my friends, her and Tiffany Stratton, they should be swapped. So I think Lyra wins this back. This has been an absolutely incredible feud. One of the best storylines in all of wrestling right now. And kudos to Becky Lynch for putting her over. And I think Lyra wins back the Intercontinental title. Women's World Championship. Naomi defends against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Naomi has to win this match. So happy for her. She is killing it as a heel. Rhea and Io are the 2 best women in the division right now. Especially with Liv Morgan on the shelf, unfortunately. But I think it's time you kind of go in a different direction with them. I wonder, could they go into a team? I wouldn't do that. I just think they're so good. They don't need to be a team. I think it's time to kind of separate them a little bit. We visited them with her too much before. I would give Rhea a little more character development. I would do something different with Io. But Naomi should retain. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what she does with her world title reign. And the undisputed WWE Championship, John Cena defends against Cody Rhodes in the street fight. So this match is by far the most intriguing on the card, and not because it's John Cena, not because it's Cody Rhodes, not because it's a main event, nothing to do with that. I don't know who's going to win this match. No, who I want to win, who I would pick. To me, they have to do something really special. Because otherwise, it's just the same thing that you did at WrestleMania without Travis Scott, obviously, thank goodness. And that match wasn't great, so I don't know what you're expecting. I wonder if we can get. I think we could get a double turn. I could see Cody turning heel and Cena turning face. The problem is, how do you turn Cody heel without The Rock there? I don't think he's showing up. I think The Rock is never showing up again. The guy just doesn't care anymore. So if another speculation, could he? It would make sense, but I really don't think he is at this point. At this point, we're too far down the road. I feel like it's better off just him. I mean, he's been mentioned a bunch of times on TV, so it would make sense. But I feel like at this point, if he's just going to show up to help a heel turn, he'll make it that much more iconic. But you could do it without him. You could still do it without him. You better just have him tell him go stay home and you're in one of your mansions, hang out with your kids, have fun making your movies. You're not needed. It'd be great to have you, but at this point, you're not needed. if you really want to do something else, maybe we can talk about maybe closer to WrestleMania season again. But so I think Cena retained. I think he should retain. This heel title one has really picked up lately. At the end of the day, yes, the whole thing like is, I'm gonna take this title home with me. It's his whole thing. Should he do that? I generally think if he's not going to turn face at all during his this run, he should take it home with him. If he's turning face, he should drop the title at some point. I think it's pretty clear. I wouldn't put it back on Cody. Put it back on Cody. Do something fresh with him. No, I want something fresh. But I think Cena retains. But I'm really hoping we get something really crazy happen because otherwise, I'm sure it'll be a pretty good match. John Cena, Cody Rhodes, just a straight fight. But if something you don't get some sort of heel turn, face turn, The Rock showing up, something crazy, it could end up being a lackluster main event. Like the first ever 2-night SummerSlam at MetLife could be same thing like main event of WrestleMania, main event of WrestleMania, and that's especially how bad the finish was. Like it'd be a little that would be a little shameful. So hopefully they do something crazy, kind of make up for the lackluster finish of WrestleMania. I think John Cena retains the title. But I could really see Cody winning, but I think Cena retains the title. But that SummerSlam coming up. I'm not going to have a podcast for about another week. So enjoy your weekends. Enjoy SummerSlam. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.